Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ted's Nerd World. I am Ted. I hope you're doing well, and I want to thank you for joining me today because we're going to continue on with Thrawn, number 1, part 2. That's all I'm going to say. Let's just get to it. I've got it set up over here, so let's just go. From Star Wars audio comics, Marvel comics, Star Wars, Lucas, whatever.
Previously on Thrawn.
Nice.
Halt! Identify yourself!
Once they set their minds to something, they succeed. Or die in the attempt.
Mitth'raw'nuruodo. But I believe it would be easier for you to just call me Thrawn.
That'll be another of your duties. Learn as much as you can about him, his home world, and his people.
His name is Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker.
We've been invited to the metallurgy lab tonight to play cards with Spank Orber and Rosita Turi. Is this what Chiss do? See a trap and just walk into it?
Sometimes walking into a trap is the best strategy. There are few traps that cannot be turned against their designers.
I suppose you're wondering why Spence and I asked you two here tonight.
You said it was to play cards.
Rosita and I wanted to pick your friend's brain on tactics and strategy. I'm having some trouble in a couple of my battle simulation classes.
We figured you could help with all your military experience, if what we heard was true.
I am happy to share my experience. Have you a specific question?
I'm interested in the idea of traps. Take these cards. If I'm holding a King's Lane, there's no way any of you can beat me. But you won't know that until it's too late.
How would you prepare for that kind of situation?
A King's Lane is indeed unbeatable. But recall that there are 3 equivalent runs in the deck. Any of them would stagger yours and lead to mutual deadlock.
You have any idea what the odds are against getting 2 King's Lanes in the same deal?
As you say, such runs are rare. More likely you hold a Prince's Lane at best, or a cube, or triad. In that event, what you described as a trap would more likely be termed simply a bluff.
Okay, but you're avoiding the question. I didn't ask for a dissertation on game theory. I asked what you would do if I held an unbeatable hand.
There is no such hand. As I suggested earlier, I might have a King's Lane of my own. In that case, a challenge would mean mutual destruction, and that is never the preferred option. You have not yet made your challenge. It is not too late to choose another.
But none would be more satisfying.
As you wish. A moment, if you will. I believe you are about to make a challenge.
What's going on here?
Cadets Orbar and Toroi are running a test, sir. My translator and I are observing their progress.
Lieutenant! Very well. Carry on.
There is no guaranteed winning hand, Cadet Orbar. I suggest you not forget that.
Well, that was fun. So you knew he was gonna pull that?
You yourself suggested his tactic this afternoon. What did you learn tonight?
Anticipate your enemy. Figure out what he's doing, and then try to stay a step ahead of him.
A step ahead or to the side. When an attack comes, it is usually best to be out of the target zone if possible.
Yes, I can see how that could be handy. Though I guess you can't always choose.
Hey, get him!
If he's too injured to complete his training, he'd have no choice but to drop out. The Emperor's grand experiment will have failed, and I'd be free. Back to my life as planned. What the hell am I thinking?
Hey, you! Bright Eyes!
Hey, what's going on here?
Run!
Are you all right?
I'm fine. You?
My injuries are minor, despite appearances. Your assistance was most timely. Thank you.
Sorry I couldn't do more. I was on the wrong side of the hedge. I gather you heard them coming?
There is a particular trait all predators tend to use. A balance between silence and speed. Humans use a version of this trait.
Thanks for getting me out of the way. I've had just enough training to know I'm not very good at this.
You are welcome. And now I believe it is time for us to see Commandant Deanlock.
All right. Cadets Obar and Turi set up the assault, you say? Did you actually hear them calling in the men who attacked you?
No, sir, we didn't. But the comlink record should give you the necessary indicators.
Yes, they should. Unless the assailants were an entirely separate bunch.
They were not. They came across the southwest corner of the parade ground, moving with speed and stealth. The only way for them to have independently identified us was with electro-binoculars.
Which none of them had.
Obar's family has a lot to say about what happens on Coruscant. I've put up with Obar's antics for almost 4 years because of it.
They would not risk going outside their closest circle of friends. I assume those suspects would be from the same social level as Cadets Orbar and Turoi.
If you're suggesting I'm going to look the other way on this, Cadet, I strongly suggest you revise your thinking. Yes, I am concerned about the potential political fallout here, but I can't let this slide, and I won't.
I'm gratified to hear that, Commandant. Let me then suggest an alternative means of action. After the attackers have been found, I recommend they be transferred to starfighter pilot training.
You don't want them to be charged? Pilot training is hardly what I'd consider a punishment.
It is not intended to be. All three show the aptitude and aura necessary for fightercraft pilots. It was obvious from their method of attack. The way they moved. It was the mark of instinctive combat pilots. I believe the starfighter program at the Skystrike Academy is equally capable to the one here at the Royal Academy.
The Skystrike's far better with pilots than we are, and there's no reason to tell Obar or Turi where their fellow conspirators disappeared to. Is there?
I would suggest that the three begin their new training... Nugi Cthulhu. Is there a word in basic for that?
Yes, incommunicado. Can they be held incommunicado, Commandant?
On Skystrike? It's hard not to be incommunicado there. And you're right. I imagine even Obar might learn to behave himself
and they
after
can't
three
talk
of his
to anybody.
conspirators disappear without a trace.
For a human like Cadet Orbar, this uncertainty will prove a useful lesson. One can hope he will take it to his core and become a better person and officer.
It's worth a shot, if you're sure you want to do it this way.
Allow me to state it more strongly. If you bring the attackers to court-martial, I will not testify against them.
Is this how you do things in the unknown regions, Cadet? A bypass the laws and regulations and get what you want through blackmail or extortion?
We attempt to solve problems. This is the solution that is best for the Empire as a whole.
Is that a new lieutenant plaque Dean Lark gave you at the graduation ceremony?
Evidently, he forgot he had already given me one.
I guess you can keep the other one as a souvenir.
Or find another use for it. Interesting. I am to be second weapons officer aboard the Gozanti-class cruiser Bloodcrow.
Nice.
And you? I presume you asked for a supply officer position.
I did. Good chance I got it, too. Bigger ships are always hurting for supply personnel. The Blood Crow? Aide to Lieutenant Thrawn. Lieutenants don't get aides, ever. You set this up with the Emperor, didn't you?
The Emperor does not speak to me, nor have I spoken with him since my first day on this world.
This didn't happen by accident. You must have said something. What was it?
The Bloodcrow is scheduled for duty in border sectors where Psi-Bisti may be spoken. I merely pointed out it might be beneficial to have two officers aboard who understand the language. If you wish, I will refuse to accept you in that position.
No point. The Navy doesn't change orders just because junior officers don't like them. When you're an admiral, we'll see what you can do.
Very well. I shall strive to achieve that rank as quickly as possible.
Chiss do not make idle boasts or promises. Once they set their minds to something, they succeed. Or die in the attempt.
Nice. Wow. That is just... Woo. That's hard to react to because my reaction is just to sit there and stare at it and listen and, you know, my reaction is just to sit there and stare at it and listen and be drawn into the story because that's really well done story from the Marvel Comics story group animated and got in the voice actors and everything the Star Wars audio comics does. They do a great job bringing that to life. That is just greatness. I wish so many more people could watch this and enjoy it as much as I do. So thanks to you guys. I'm going to have links down below. Everybody go over there and check them out. Look at all their stuff. They have all kinds of comics over there. All kinds of things you can waste your time, or not waste your time on, enjoy your time doing, like me. So yeah. So please go check it out. Come back here and leave a comment below. Click that like button, click the subscribe button, click that bell for notifications. Until next time, this is Ted from Ted's Nerd World saying thanks and take care, all right?